Welcome to a video on learning Twine. In this video I'm going to discuss story formats. Story formats are a core of using Twine. When developing in Twine, when playing a game in Twine, when seeing a project in Twine, you're using a story format. Twine by itself is nothing without its story formats. These dictate, at a minimum, aesthetics and mechanics of how Twine works. To change a story format, when looking at the story map view, come down to the story menu and choose Change Story Format. As of this recording, there are 3 built-in story formats that come with Twine 2. Harlowe, SugarCube, and Snowman. As of this recording, there are also 2 different branches of 2 story formats that also come with Twine 2. Harlowe and SugarCube have 1.0 versions and 2.0 versions. Each of these provide slightly different functionality, and by clicking on them, you can see links to their own documentation. Snowman, I should note, does not have a link to its own documentation when using Twine, but documentation on functionality provided by Snowman can be found on the Twine Wiki and mentioned in the Twine Cookbook. Story formats can be thought, as I mentioned, along 2 different very generalized categories. What they provide for aesthetics and what they provide for mechanics. And these will dictate, when thinking of making something in Twine, how an author should choose which story format or move between story formats depending on their own needs and wants. To see this, I will take this first story format, Harlowe 2.1, close this, and play this story. We'll notice it's now on a black background with white text. Closing this, coming back to the story menu, coming back to Change Story Format, I can choose Snowman, play this story, and we notice the presentation and layout changed. On a baseline, each story format dictates its own aesthetics. It comes with its own CSS rules, that is, cascading style sheets, that change how text and other elements are presented in each story format. Knowing these can help an author make the decision about what story format they may want to use. The other consideration for each story format is what it provides mechanically. That is, what it may provide through macros that it has defined, as well as any JavaScript functionality it may also provide. Thinking them along a spectrum, Harlowe provides a good set of beginning macros and discourages JavaScript usage. SugarCube, as a middle of that, encourages and accepts JavaScript usage, but also provides a good set of macros. Snowman, as a sort of extreme of Harlowe, provides no macros, very little CSS, but provides a greater increase of JavaScript functionality and expects authors to bring their own CSS and JavaScript knowledge to using that story format. Along these 2 categories then, aesthetics and mechanics, choices have to be made depending on the story format and how authors want to present their own work. Harlowe again is a good first choice. SugarCube for more advanced developers who want to intermix macros and JavaScript usage. And finally, for more knowledgeable developers, Snowman may be a good choice for a story format which allows greater JavaScript and CSS usage. Finally, even though there are 3 built-in story formats, others can be added to Twine and additional functionality added or used depending on that story format and what they can provide. Additional story formats can be added by going back to the story list, over on the right-hand side choosing Formats, and finally, the 3rd tab, Add a New Format. There are some additional story formats not included in Twine, but can be added to Twine for usage. An example of that is the Intweedle story format that produces Twee code. While not as useful in Twine 1, in Twine 2, Twine 1 used Twee code as one of its supported formats. For those who may want to move between Twine 1 and Twine 2, that may be a good story format to consider. In each case, however, again returning to those 2 loose categories, story formats define aesthetics, at least the baseline that can be changed, as well as mechanics, what macros they provide, and what JavaScript functionality, if any, they provide as well. As an author thinking about using Twine, choices of story formats can dictate, again, aesthetics, behavior, like it mentions before, as well as mechanics, what macros, what JavaScript functionality they provide. Thanks for watching.